I'm going to be demonstrating a belay escape process. As you can see, I have a climber who's fallen and is unable to climb up. I obviously cannot lower my climber onto that picket, which is a pretty nasty hazard. So I need to escape the belay so that I can go and perform some rescue. First step in the belay escape is to tie a mule knot so I can go hands-free. You'll see I'm still maintaining tension on the breaking strand. It's very important to not lower the climber during the process of tying the knot accidentally. This knot should be tied down as close as possible to the belay device, or a munter if you're using a munter to belay with. The mule knot can accidentally come untied if you were to pull on this strand. So I'm going to back that up with an overhand knot. The overhand knot needs to be tied down close to the mule knot. As you can see, I can pull now and it won't accidentally come untied. I'm going to back up the overhand knot by taking a carabiner and clipping it through the bite and around the loaded strand. Now I'm hands-free. The next step is to tie a prusik. You can use, in this case, a loop of purlon. A hollow block would work as well. Tie a prusik knot or hitch onto the climber's rope. Make sure it's dressed well, sliding up, sliding down, and it's gripping when I pull. So that's good. Take a locking carabiner, clip it through the loop, and take the strand from the anchor. This is called the back strand sometimes. And I'm going to tie a munter knot on there. Lock that carabiner. Now I want this munter to be tied in the lowering position, so I'm going to pull this strand here. See it, as I pull down, it tightens back towards the anchor. Now, trying not to let out too much with that, I'm going to tie another mule knot. In the process of tying this knot, I don't have to be nearly so careful to always hold on to the rope because I'm not actually belaying any at this point. I'm still hands-free because of this. So this is kind of a rest from belaying in the middle of the process here. Got my munter, have my mule knot, backed up my mule knot with an overhand, protected the overhand with a carabiner around what will be the loaded strand and through the bite that's left out on the other end of the half hitch, half hitch. Now, I want to tension that up, put as much tension as I can. Obviously, I can't take the full weight of the climber on this without releasing rope through the belay, but I want that to be pushed up and cinched as tight as it'll go to begin with. This is a good time while your hand's free to get set up for the next step by putting a locking carabiner on the brake, on the anchor, and ready for use in just a minute. Now I'm ready to put my climber's weight onto this prusik. I begin by putting my hands back on the brake strand from my harness belay. Take out that carabiner, undo the overhand, and pull out the rope. I'm now belaying my climber actively again. And I'm going to very slowly, you may notice yourself drop just a little bit, warn my climber, and then slowly transfer the weight over, watching to make sure that it actually holds here. You can see all the weight is transferred onto the prusik, so that's good. Now I'm going to come down here with that carabiner I just put on just a little bit ago. If you forgot and didn't do that, it's okay. It's just more convenient to put it on while your hand's free. But you could unclip it and put it on now too. And I'm going to tie another munter. Still being careful never to let go of the braking strand, because I need to be prepared to back up if this slips. Now you'll see I have my munter. And this good munter flips back and forth. My carabiner is locked, and I can now belay through this directly off of the anchor. So I no longer need my harness belay. Slide my hand up here a little, on the clip, pull out the belay, and tension the rope. Now again, I want to set this up in the lowering position. So I'm going to pull on this strand, tighten the munter up. Now it's all set in the lowering position. Again, I want it in the lowering position so that it won't allow the munter to flip accidentally when I tension the munter knot. Tie a mule. Still maintaining my control of the braking strand at all times, just in case the prusik slips. Now tie an overhand. I think I said half hitch earlier. They're very similar, but this is really it's an overhand. There we go. Protected with the carabiner. I can go hands-free again on this at any time, because that's all set up and locked in place. One extra safety precaution I want to take is, just in case something happens and my knot slips, I want to have a backup, so I'm going to tie a figure 8 on the braking strand. There we go. Being a little stubborn. Take that figure 8 and attach it to the anchor with another locking carabiner. Now that'll back this whole system up just in case there's some catastrophic failure. I'm ready now to take the load off of the prusik and put it directly onto the belay on the anchor. Put my hand on the braking strand, remove the carabiner, untie the overhand knot, untie that mule knot, and carefully just watching things to make sure nothing comes undone down there. Everything looks good. There we go. Yep, the weight is now completely on my belay, my new belay point on the anchor. So I can undo that munter, remove that carabiner, untie the prusik, and now I'm no longer belaying. I can untie. If I were hundreds of feet up a cliff, I would want to come up with some way to protect myself before I untied. And hopefully there would be another climbing party nearby, because if you're way up a cliff and you only have one rope, you might be just stuck and not really have much option. But fortunately we're on the ground here, so I can safely untie and go and get help for my climber. In this case, I see my friend Dave coming along. Yes, Dave, this is the alpine draw that you haven't seen since we went ice climbing last summer. It came home accidentally on my harness. We'll return it sometime, next time we climb. In the meantime, you get some credit for a rescue here, because now my climber's rope is redirected and I can lower my climber now without involving any hazards. In order to lower with this setup, I begin by removing the carabiner backup knot. There's a figure eight, untie the figure eight. You want to make sure you remember to untie the figure eight. If you don't, it can get jammed up in the belay, and could be a pretty big problem. Got my hand back on the braking strand, ready to belay. Untie the overhand knot, untie the mule knot, and now I'm ready to belay. I can lower my climber, lowering you. Now my climber's safely on the ground. Well, safe except for whatever injuries were preventing him from climbing to begin with. And I'm ready to go and provide first aid if needed.